Dr. Bond, welcome.
Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you for having me today.
Dr. Bond, after having run a large and successful wellness practice, what is one of your common observations you have observed with patients? And can you talk about how you utilized Catalyn in your practice?
As most of the listeners will attest to, what practitioners typically see today are that Americans are eating a nutrient-deficient, toxic diet. And they come into our offices after decades of eating these so-called, what I call industrialized byproducts, which in fact aren't foods. So just the fact that we can look at maybe a food diary and or just assume that if they're eating the typical American diet, that there's so many things lacking, so many essential nutrients lacking, that there's some basic nutritional foundational support that everyone should be on. And Catalyn is just a great example of that product. And as you know, Tim, Catalyn was the first product that Dr. Royal Lee, who founded what is now known as Standard Process, came up with in 1929. And he basically came up with Catalyn because he saw even back then, that people were eating these nutrient deficient diets. And it's interesting, I had done just on my own, some research years ago and didn't realize that even Wonder Bread came out in 1930 and Oreo cookies came out in 1912. So this concept of people not eating well has been going on for quite a long time. And when you look at Catalyn, is what I call a therapeutic food, even though we call it a supplement or a whole food-based multiple vitamin. And when we look at some of the ingredients in Catalyn, such as the desiccated adrenal, and every patient, whether they're an acute or chronic case, is an adrenal case. And you'll see in many of Dr. Lee's formulas that he put adrenal products in there. So we've got the desiccated adrenal to supply those nutrients found in highest concentration in those cells. You also have desiccated support for the kidneys and the spleen, which is a key immune organ. You look at liver powder that's in there. The liver is directly or indirectly tied into every physiological function in the body. He also put carrot powder in Catalyn. And carrots, among other things, are a wonderful source of the vitamin A complex. Typically, when people think of vitamin A, they think of beta-carotene. But beta-carotene is one of 600 carotenoids that exist in nature, another reason why whole foods are so important. But Dr. Lee understood the physiology of the body, and he understood that sick people have a lot of oxidative stress, and then if we just give them the carrot root, which is a great source of beta-carotene among other phytochemicals, the body would not necessarily turn that beta-carotene to retinol, but would use it as an antioxidant. So he also put retinol esters in Catalyn, which is so great in and of itself because when the body digests the retinol esters, we turn it into retinol, which is the active form of vitamin A. So again, another reason why Dr. Lee was such a genius and way ahead of his time in his formulations that we have put forth in a product such as Catalyn. You've got pea vine juice, which is not the pea pod, but the pea vine, which is a rich source of the vitamin E complex, the tocopherols, the tocotrienols, along with vitamin C. Alfalfa extract. An alfalfa root can go deep into the soil and pull out those trace minerals. And that's where the plants get those trace minerals. Mushroom powder, which is a great source of vitamin C and also vitamin D. Oats for trace minerals and macro minerals such as calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus. So it goes on, along with B vitamins and vitamin D. So you can see, Tim, that again, Catalyn is what I consider a therapeutic food.
It's amazing, Dr. Bond, after all these years, a product like Catalyn that was produced in 1929 is still number one in most practitioners' office. What do you think about the recommended dosage on the bottle at 3 tablets per day?
Well, I think the recommended dosage is too low. In my practice, and what I tell doctors when I talk to them around the country on a weekly basis, is that people should be at least on 6 Catalyn a day. And either 2, 2, and 2, or 3 in the morning and 3 at night. And they should take this for the rest of their life. And when doctors recommend it, they should tell the patients, you're going to need to take this for the rest of your life, simply because you're probably not going to eat enough good, whole, organic, free-range food to supply everything that you need on a daily basis.